with me. We'll take some phone calls coming up next. I'm glad we got to do that, and maybe we'll even do another one when we come back. You're listening because they I'm Connie Willis.
I'm Brian Bruman from the Kfi 24-hour newsroom. Millions of people have safely gotten rid of old or unused drugs. Yesterday was DEA's semi-annual Drug Take-Back Day. DEA Administrator Ann Milgram says it's important to get drugs out of your house.
We know that a majority of Americans who become addicted to opioids first started with a prescription pill that they found in their medicine cabinet.
More than 4,000 locations around California and across the U.S. accepted unused and expired medications, even illegal drugs, no questions asked. A senior al-Qaeda leader has been killed in a U.S. drone strike. U.S. Central Command says the precision strike in Syria took out Abdul Hamid al-Matar. A CENTCOM spokesman says the removal of the senior leader will disrupt the terrorist group's ability to carry out attacks threatening Americans, U.S. allies, and civilians. SoCal weather from KFI, low clouds and fog in the morning, then partly cloudy by the afternoon, mid-60s to low 70s in Metro LA and OC. We lead local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Brian Berman.
Checking KFI traffic, we do have a crash in Norwalk on the 605 northbound to 105. That's blocking the center lane. Through Carson on the 405 northbound FD110, a crash here has the two right lanes blocked. And look out in the South El Monte area, 60 westbound at Rosemead Boulevard, a crash has the two left lanes blocked. Moreno Valley, 60 eastbound at Heacock, vehicle fire there has the left lane blocked. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jonathan Weiss.
If you own a business and manage to keep 5 or more people on the payroll through the pandemic, there's a new government program that will pay you tens of thousands of dollars per employee. And this is not a loan. This is a grant. The challenge is getting your hands on this money. This is a bureaucracy. InnovationRefunds.com cuts through the red tape, helps you get the cash. They do all of the legwork. They don't charge a penny until you receive the money, and what they do is simply share a percentage of the money they get for you. They got my business a 6-figure refund. Now, their average client gets $250,000. That's impressive. Go to InnovationRefunds.com, click on the Qualify Me button, answer a few questions. InnovationRefunds.com. It's no risk, and it certainly is high reward. InnovationRefunds.com. They help me. I'm sure they can help you. InnovationRefunds.com.
This is hard to admit, but when I was in junior high school, I was bullied so badly, I cried. Hello, I'm John Aquayan, owner of Rooter Hero Plumbing. I was named Oganes after my grandfather, but as a kid I was teased for having that name, so I changed it to John. John is the English version of Oganes, and it maintains the honor to my grandfather. My family and heritage are important to me, so staying true to myself and Rooter Hero Plumbing are important. Staying true to Rooter Hero Plumbing means being true to you and delivering world-class service. That's why my cell phone number is on the back of every Rooter Hero Plumbing business card. Call us at 866-77, and we'll cable your line for $77. That's 866-77. Thank you.
Everybody needs a hero. RooterHero.com.
CL 102-8886.
Contractor license 1047-781.
Ken, it's Ken. What's the deal with the flashlight? What do you mean? Like on our billboards and on our trucks and stuff. That kid with the flashlight is me, Zach. Explain that to me. My dad was a big-time expert. So back when I was in grade school, he would always take me with him on repair calls at night. Made you hold the flashlight, didn't he? Yeah. And he would always explain to me how he diagnosed the problem. That's a good dad. That's what that is. And then he would show me the right way to fix it, not the easy way. So that flashlight is a symbol, huh? That flashlight says an expert will always see the problems that the other guys can't see. That's why you make sure all our guys are experts. Yeah, and when you repair things the right way, not the easy way, your light's that beam of light. Always doing the right thing for the customer. That's what the flashlight means, Zach. Thanks for telling me, Ken. Gettle, Goetl. We know our business, and we know it well.
The
Delta variant is making COVID-19 spread faster and more easily. Variants can be more contagious, aggressive, and deadly. But we know vaccines work. Vaccinated Californians have greater protection against serious illness, hospitalization, and death. We can help stop the spread and end this pandemic. Get vaccinated and wear a mask when it can protect you and others. Find a vaccine near you at myturn.ca.gov. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk.
Call the wildcard line at 818-501-4109. The first-time caller line is 818-501-4721. To talk to Connie from east of the Rockies, call 800-825-5033. From west of the Rockies, toll-free, call 800-618-8255. This is Coast to Coast AM with your guest host, Connie Willis.
Hello and welcome back to Coast AM. A little red wine for you. Connie Willis here. Trick or treat. How about a little red wine? Oh no. If you're a young one, run from that place. Run from that. A little older, maybe there. I don't know. Maybe you know the people. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know where I was going, but I know Halloween is coming up. I get to be here on the actual Halloween night. Yep, get to be on Coast. But what's the better place at all, if you're working in radio, to be on Halloween night, but Coast to Coast AM? Love it, I love it, I love it. So that's going to be fun, but let me ask you, who do you think you would like to hear that would be special on Halloween? Let me know. Let me know. So write in, because it'd be interesting. I'm still going through the little files of who should be on Halloween night. So let me know your thoughts, and that would be interesting to see who you think would be great. Now, don't forget, Ghost to Ghost is going to be happening on Friday night with George Norrie. Ghost to Ghost. That's where you tell your stories. So you can call in, you can also email them. But, can't do better than ghost stories on Halloween. So Ghost to Ghost on Friday. Lisa Gar going to be in on Saturday. I'll be on Halloween night. So tell me your thoughts of who you think might be really spooky and really somebody really cool for Halloween night. More to come here. You're listening to Coast AM.
If you have life insurance through work, I can almost guarantee you're overpaying for it. And the amount of coverage you can have is limited. I'm Joel Clark, a Select Quote agent for over 20 years, and my clients are shocked to learn how expensive their life insurance at work really is because of a rate driven up by unhealthier people. Plus, with preset limits, you're likely to have far less coverage than you really need for your family. For over 35 years, Select Quote has helped people save 50% or more by shopping highly rated insurance companies to find your best policy. That's why Select Quote is America's #1 term life sales agency. Don't wait. Workplace open enrollment is here. Let Select Quote help you save money on your own policy and get the coverage you need to protect your family.
For your free quote in just minutes, call 1-800-737-9944. That's 1-800-737-9944. 1-800-737-9944. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Savings may vary by term, policy amount, and state. Not available in all states. Full details on savings and carrier ratings at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
My doctor prescribed me Viagra. It wasn't covered by my insurance, so it was costing me like $65 a pill. That's expensive. Over 20 million guys like us use Viagra. Over a certain age, we just need it. I found a way to pay less than $3 a pill and get virtually the same effect of this $65 pill. I heard an ad just like this on the radio, called, and for $99 I got 40 generic versions of this $65 pill. Save yourself money and call right now and get over 40 pills for $99
There's no embarrassment here to use Viagra. If we're over 50, we need it, but not at high prices. Call now with your credit card and get the 40-bill special for just $99.
Call 800-BUY-BLUE. 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 That's 800-BUY-BLUE. Paid for by Steel Man Pills.
It's Coast to Coast AM. Connie Willis here. MK Data's coming up next hour. We're going to be talking about peopling in the Americas. Peopling. He said, it's an actual word, Connie. I was like, I like it. It's kind of fun to say. Peopling. It's how people came about in the Americas. How man came about. So that'll be fun. It'll be all about part of, at least, the Davis report. MK Davis coming up for you next hour. Lots of people on the phone. We're going to try to get to you now. Brad Yates is with us. He is a tapper, and he did everything for the entire world to get rid of fear and go into the love. And thank you so much for tapping as quick as you did. Do you think less than 30 seconds or a minute did it stop? But, you know, people understood what was going on, though. You know, that was what was great about it.
Yeah. As you said, you can do tapping quick. I like to cover a lot of bases when I'm tapping. It's an exploratory process, trying to figure out, okay, what might be behind the fear? Why am I afraid of love and things like that? But, you know, great if you have the time, but there are times where it's like, okay, I only have a minute to tap, and better to do some tapping than none at all.
Yeah, and, you know, I mean, I'm sure people come to you with problems that you've never had or don't ever expect to have, and so it is your job to go in there and do a little research to see what might be behind that, and then use that.
Yep.
Would that be right? Would that be something you would do?
Yeah, it's exploring with them. At some point, at some place inside of us, we know why we have these issues, but we are afraid to look at that, and so we stop ourselves from knowing. And sometimes, you know, we blank out on our memories. Some people can't even remember their childhood because it's too scary to look at. And with the tapping, we calm down that fear response, and we start to get glimpses, and we start to become aware of, oh, I remember this thing that happened when I was 4 years old, and it's no wonder that I'm afraid of clowns, or whatever it might be.
We are all afraid of clowns. We just don't like them, okay?
Clowns are wonderful things.
How about, it's those eyes. It's those eyes trying to be hidden behind that makeup. No, those eyes are scary. What about past lives? Do you find that it helps with past lives?
Yeah, it's interesting. When I started as a hypnotherapist, when I was doing my internship at the clinic, my first 2 clients were past life regression clients, and it's fascinating. And you know, that's a different process doing it through hypnosis, but with EFT, we can also tap, because whatever we've brought with us, you know, whether it's an actual past life or whether that's how our mind is perceiving it as a metaphor, it's what's in our body right now, the energetic blocks that we feel right now. And it can be very useful to explore where that might have come from, including whether it's a past life or ancestral DNA that's been carried on through the ages.
Well, we got a lot of people that want to talk to you, so let's go to first-time caller Tom from Montana. Tom, welcome to Coast AM. Do you have a question for Brad?
Yes, I do. Thanks, Tony.
Absolutely.
Hey, Tom.
Brad, I got a simple question. I don't know if it's going to be a simple answer, but can I use this to quit smoking, and if so, how?
Yeah, excellent question. It is a great tool for clearing cravings. As I mentioned earlier about how when I first was introduced to tapping and tapped on chocolate cravings. So the same cravings, like I said, self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love. When we engage in behavior like smoking, which we can objectively say, this is bad for me. There's no benefits to my human body other than what I am perceiving in terms of, you know, the pleasure or the sense that it's relaxing me. And so there's, and most smokers have decided to be smokers by the time they're 7 years old, just based on the people around them and the images of smoking and what that means. And there's a psychological connection there. And so with the tapping, you absolutely can downregulate that to the point of, yeah, I have no reason to put this in my body anymore. And
Do you have that?
Sometimes it's quick and sometimes it takes a little bit more time, but I have worked with folks to clear out any desires.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Tom. Do you have that on your site where somebody can purchase that?
I have an audio, I don't even know if it's where that might still be. I don't have it. I have several videos on clearing cravings, including, for next week, clearing Halloween candy cravings.
No, I don't even want that. Bring it on. Candy corn. Bring it on. They even have nerds, candy corn nerds this year. I was like, oh my goodness, they're delicious. They're really good. East of the Rockies, Cindy is looking to talk to you out of Long Island, New York. Cindy, welcome to Coast AM.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I have a condition called septicemia, and I was wondering if this tapping would work on that.
I'm sorry, I had a little trouble hearing you. What,
I have septicemia.
Oh, like hair pulling.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so, it's one of the FRBs, body-focused repetitive behaviors. And, yes, and those are anxiety-based habits. So, the tapping is a great tool for dealing with that anxiety as opposed to engaging in those other kinds of behaviors, like that, hair pulling, nail biting, different things like that. So it does provide, you know, all of those things are ways that we've learned to handle the anxiety that's coming up. So using the tapping to calm down that anxiety is a great way to be able to avoid those more harmful behaviors.
So if they're looking on your site, where would they go to get a tap session for that?
I have a video on, I think it may be called Bad Habits, but here's the thing, is all of the videos, any tapping video or any tapping program that I have will help to downregulate stress and anxiety, which then gives us relief from those other habits that can be painful and embarrassing, things like that.
Yeah, I noticed it was all pretty much, yeah, I got that. And you have, by the way, so many, you've been doing this for a long time.
A couple of decades now.
Yeah, you're like, oh, wait a minute, when did I do that last one? So people can pretty much go to your channel and find something that would work for it. I noticed that, there's a lot of different titles and a lot of different videos, but some of them, they're just a little bit more of a niche than maybe another, but it's kind of, there's a lot of money ones for prosperity and things like that, just with different words along the way, kind of the same thing, which is nice because you got different ones from just a little bit of a different perspective. So wildcard line number 2, back to the phones. Jeff out of Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Hey, Jeff, welcome to Coast. Hey.
I'm getting a terrible echo here. I don't know why my radio's off.
I'm not getting it on this side.
So do you have a question?
Yes, I
You're
do.
okay, though.
Brad, I've had no palsy for the last 15 years. Is there a way to address that?
I have not worked with that myself. It'd be an interesting thing to look at. There's so many case studies on so many issues, and I wouldn't be surprised if someone has done some work with it, because and again, I'm not a doctor, and so I can't give medical advice, but so many of the issues that we face have stress, the stress aggravates it. And so when we are able to calm down our system, we tend to see a reduction in symptoms. Now, there have been stories of really, profound healing that has gone on with a number of issues. I'm certainly not going to make any claims of what's possible. I just know that there are stories of that. But the tapping can help calm down the stress that can aggravate and create more of the symptoms. It can also help with a lot of the emotional things that go on. When we have a condition, we may be experiencing a lot of fear, a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, a lot of embarrassment, depending on what it might be. And so even when we're not necessarily able to do something about the physical symptoms, we can at least create a greater sense of peace of mind and say, okay, at least I can still feel better while this is going on. So there is a possibility that through the tapping, you can alleviate some of the symptoms, but at least create a greater sense of peace of mind while still having that.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. Mike, wildcard line number 1. I hope you got a quick one there out of Denver. Hey there, Mike.
Good morning, Connie. Thank you so much for taking my call. It's great to hear you on the radio, always. And Brad, thank you so much for doing this show. I have anxiety. I've struggled with it since I was a kid, and this just is really close to my heart, so thank you. And I just had a quick question. So, Brad, from what I've interpreted about tapping, it's kind of meant you to essentially be able to allow you to achieve that state of self, being centered and just being at ease with your anxiety. And, situationally, kind of when we look at tapping, I feel like sometimes it could be more effectively used. For example, if you're in private and kind of dealing with a traumatic memory compared to, if you're in a public setting where social anxiety may arise. But, there's different levels of anxiety kind of associated with each event. So the question I essentially wanted to ask you is, what's the difference between, how can people best utilize tapping in a situation where you're feeling present tense stress and anxiety compared to past tense stress and anxiety?
Right. Well, and the stress we're feeling is in the present. It's always in this moment. Now, the roots of it may be in the past. And certainly when we're dealing with more traumatic events, I encourage people to work with a trained professional. There's some places we shouldn't go by ourselves, and it helps to work through that. And in fact, like Bessel van der Kolk, who's one of the premier experts in trauma, uses tapping with his clients to help deal with that. In terms of the present moment, there are subtle ways to tap. We can hold our fingers on the point and just gently rub them. And I have a video called Suggestions on How to Tap. And so there are subtle ways that we can do it. So when we're in those moments of social anxiety, we can tap our fingertips, or we can gently rub some points, and nobody's the wiser. And we're still stimulating those points and calming down that anxiety.
Good stuff. Good question there, Mike. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. Lots of calls coming in for you. It was nice to be able to do a nice session with you, even though it was short. At least it gave, an idea of what it is. It's really, that's why I was asking about the reinforcement of the tapping, how important that was, because there's so much of the perspective of when you're saying, hey, I'm going to let myself open up to this, as you're saying it, as you're tapping, it's like, do you really need the tapping? But hitting the meridian points is a big part of it, right? Come on, it's tapping.
You're using something in the physical body, and, someone asked me a conference once, they said, would you say that what you do is in the realm of the woo-woo? And I said, I wouldn't. I think it's a scientific use of how your body works, and it's using the way your body is designed to calm down the stress response, the fight or flight that can happen when we feel threatened. So, even though we only got to do a quick round of tapping, there's over 1,000 videos on YouTube. You can go, there's a tap for that, so whatever is, almost any issue that you're coming up with, something that's along those lines. So you can please go and experiment and try out some of those videos and use this. Because You know, nothing's so good that it can't get better in our lives, and I do tapping is a profound way of being able to create an opening for things to get much better.
You can find Brad at tapwithbrad.com. You can also go to his YouTube channel. Is it Tap with Brad?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. So easy. I love that. And he's written The Wizard's Wish, as well as Freedom at Your Fingertips, and co-author of the bestseller. And you did something with The Secret, right?
I've done programs with a number of the stars from The Secret, Tom Doyle, Joe Vitale, and I spoke on Jackson's Good Stage, and yeah, I've been fortunate enough to become friends with a number of the folks in that movie.
And what was the Monster PT thing? What was there something like that?
Oh, yeah, I went to places I've wanted to visit for a long time, and someone reached out to me recently and said, hey, would you like to come and lead a week-long retreat in Peru?